Up next on Connections, we'll introduce you to CTA's president and tell you about his vision for the future. We'll visit with a CTA employee who won an international award and hear about his accomplishments. We'll take a trip to the South Shore Cultural Center on Jeanne's journey. And you'll see why Chicago is a great city to ride your bicycle and CTA. The CTA, working hard to improve, committed to quality and its riders. Welcome to Connections. The CTA, delivering quality, affordable transit that links people, jobs, and communities. I'm Jeanne Sparrow. Welcome to Connections. CTA welcomed a new president in March, Richard Rodriquez. Prior to joining CTA, he served as Commissioner of the Department of Aviation, and he's also held positions with the Department of Buildings and the Chicago Housing Authority. He has a deep commitment to public service and wants to bring a stronger customer focus to the CTA.
In my opinion, the system is in fact the bloodline of the city itself, being able to carry passengers to and from locations throughout the entire city and the 40 surrounding suburbs. So it's extremely important that the system run efficiently.
Since joining CTA, President Rodriquez has made it clear that his intent is to make the agency as customer-focused as possible.
Friendliness is a huge factor in delivering customer service. It's the one thing that we really want to try and focus on, ensuring that their customers are treated appropriately every single day. Whenever they step onto a bus, whenever they step onto a rail platform, whenever they're seeking instructions on how to get to and from the city, is ensuring that our representatives, anyone that works for the Chicago Transit Authority, is doing so with a smile.
In addition to a pleasant experience while riding, continuing to rebuild and repair CTA's aging transit system is a priority as well. Earlier this year, the agency received a boost in their efforts in the form of federal stimulus funds.
Part of what we received from the federal government is approximately $241 million in stimulus grants. We've begun by investing in the Dearborn subway station on the Blue Line and eliminating slow zones through that entire area. We're also utilizing some of those funds to purchase new hybrid buses, which are extremely fuel efficient and great for the economy. Great for the environment. We have 8 rail yards, we have 8 garages, we have a lot of maintenance shops throughout the system. We have 240 some odd different miles of track throughout the entire system. So there's a lot of places where we will actually make improvements that the public won't necessarily be able to see with their eyes, but they will experience in their rides. So the more monies that we get, again, the better for the system. We have an unfunded need of close to probably about $10 billion at this point, that if we actually had the dollars right now, we'd be able to bring the system up into a state of good repair.
Despite the economic challenges, President Rodriquez is intent on keeping public transit efficient and affordable for riders. As a publicly funded agency, the complexity of financing day-to-day operations is a balancing act.
The fare that they pay to actually ride the system probably pays for about 50% of our operating budget. So we have typically about a $1.3 billion operating budget annually, of which about $600 to $700 million of that comes from fares and non-fare box revenues such as advertising and selling surplus real estate property and things of that nature. All the rest of that comes from state subsidies, basically sales tax and real estate transfer tax. And given that both of those have really been suffering for the past few years, the past year at a minimum, it's been extremely challenging for the state to give us the funding that we really need to operate.
But it's the riders that are at the true core of the agency and make the daily challenges of running the country's second largest transit agency worthwhile.
We're extremely grateful to the customers for riding our system, those new customers and those that have been loyal for so many years. They've basically given us one of the best assets the city has, and they've entrusted us to manage it properly. So with that said, we appreciate what they do. We encourage them to continue riding the system, and our commitment is to manage it as efficiently as possible and try and provide the best service that we can given the resources that we have. What we try and do is make sure that individuals realize that this is not riding a public transit system should not be something that you're required to do. It should be something that you choose to do. It really is great for the environment. It really is great for saving some monies too at home in terms of not having to pay a separate car payment, not having to pay insurance, not having to pay additional fuel costs. So we encourage individuals to actually get out and ride the system with the hopes that they remain committed throughout the entire year.
You'll be hearing more and more about the improvements President Rodriquez is bringing to the CTA. Just ahead on Connections, the four-time CTA Rodeo champ now has a new trophy on his mantle. So tell me, what's your favorite place to take the CTA to in the summertime?
Millennium Park.
Millennium Park, what do you like about it?
Just the atmosphere and the people. Probably Navy Pier.
Why is that?
I have my niece and nephew, and they love it. And They love getting on the rides, and they love going on the boat rides. And we go there 4 or 5 times during the summer.
Oh, wow. And you don't like to park there, do you?
I know I take CTA all the time.
Navy Pier, it's a wonderful place to take your kids. There's a whole lot of different activities.
This summer I'm taking a class down at Columbia College for fiction writing, so it's really fun. I like going there.
I choose to take CTA because it gets me to and from quicker.
I prefer CTA. I could have a car, but I like the convenience, and I like not having to pay parking.
Combining technology and teamwork while delivering dependable, affordable transit. I'm Jeanne Sparrow. Welcome to Connections. We have a special rodeo story for you this month. Jairo Naranjo, current reigning CTA bus operator champ, has recently taken top honors in customer service on the international stage.
A typical day, come to work on time, check at the window, check for my bus, and once I receive my bus, go around, check it, and make sure that everything's adequate for me to go out in the street.
Jairo is anything but the typical employee.
He's a special individual, just like in any workforce. Every now, occasionally you have a person comes along that's able to excel above what's normally expected. And his ability to be able to operate a bus, we consider him the Michael Jordan of Forest Glen Garage in Chicago Transit Authority.
Every year, CTA holds a rodeo to give employees a chance to show their skills. The four-time CTA Rodeo champ now has a new trophy on his mantle.
Jairo was chosen to go to the International Rodeo competition because he came in first place in our local competition. We have a preliminary competition which is usually held like a month or two before the final competition. So Jairo came in first place, so as the winner of the competition, he got the opportunity to travel to the international competition and represent the Chicago Transit Authority.
The International Rodeo this year was hosted in Seattle, Washington. It's a great state, I've never been there. It's a great competition, and basically it's a competition set up for rodeo winners from each state. And each property has a certain somebody that they send to represent that property.
It gives them an opportunity to test out their driving skills to make sure that they are able to function at a high level during crucial periods of our operation. And it's a great motivation tactic that we use for the employees to bring them all together to increase the morale.
I was involved in the rodeo for the last 15 years. I was the instructor that was able to come in and show everybody certain things that they have to do. The most important thing is to keep your focus and your competitiveness up. And Jairo, without a doubt, is one of the best in the city.
Jairo competed against transit properties from around the country in 3 different events.
There was the driving part, there's a customer service part, and there's also what they call as a pre-pull-out part. As far as the pre-pull-out, they plan in certain themes, defects on the bus, and they gave you 7 minutes in order for you to identify these defects. And the person that identified the most defects was labeled the winner. The driving part is a little bit similar to what we do here in Chicago. Basically, what it is, it's an obstacle set up with certain maneuvers that you do with your bus, as far as right turns, left turns, obstacles, Y-backs, and certain things like that. Customer service is huge. It's key for every property, and that's what every property goes for. And basically, Once you volunteer, you have an appointment and you go into a room with a panel of judges, with 3 judges, and what they do is they interview you, and it's an intense interview. Basically scenarios that are set up that they give you. It can be anywhere from fair disputes to fair issues to a woman that has a cut on a leg or just certain situations like that.
Jairo did well in all 3 competitions, but he truly shined in customer service.
Just sat and talked with him and just remember everything you do every day. Him and I discussed it. He went out there, but it was all him. His personality, he shined. He had the entire place laughing as well as keeping control of his bus during the competition.
I took an international customer service champion.
He did wonderful. He came in first place and he got a perfect score.
His interpersonal skills that he had with the customers as well as his fellow co-workers, I mean, it's unmatched by any of our employees that we've seen. He's a very positive influence on our total operations here at Chicago Transit Authority.
President Richard Rodriguez recently commended Jairo and believes he's an employee that others will see as an example.
See, we're extremely proud of his accomplishments and of his tremendous customer service skills, and we're looking at ways that we can better cultivate and develop these same types of skills with all of our frontline employees. And we know that Jairo gets it. He offers a warm smile on a cold day to everyone who boards his bus, and although they may not know why, these customers feel better about the CTA. Number 1.
It's operators like Jairo who make riding the CTA such a great experience for so many customers. It takes a lot of work and planning to adjust CTA service. Recently, the CTA board approved several route changes to serve customers. One route that is in an experimental phase this summer is the number 130.
The name has changed from, it was formerly the number 130 Grant Park Treasures. Now it's the 130 Museum Campus. We feel it highlights better the main attraction of the route. The routing has changed, so it now serves State Street between Adams and Roosevelt instead of Michigan. This allows customers to transfer to the red, orange, and green lines at State and Roosevelt.
It fills a gap for providing convenient and direct service from Ogilvie Transportation Center as well as Union Station to the museum campus. It also now has service on weekdays, so people can enjoy going to the museum not only on the weekends but also on the weekdays.
The number 130 runs 7 days a week, every 15 minutes from about 9:30 a.m. till 6 o'clock at night. The 130 is a seasonal route. It runs from Memorial Day to Labor Day. It was also presented as a 180-day experiment to the CTA board, and ridership and customer input will be collected over this summer to see if we should make the weekday service permanent.
In June, 2 experimental routes were made permanent by the CTA board.
The 2 routes that were approved as permanent in our June board were the Yellow Line weekend service and the 43rd Street later evening service on weekdays. The Yellow Line offered weekend service and also provided an opportunity to connect with Old Orchard Mall as well as the rest of our rail system on the weekends.
The number 43 43rd Street, we extended the hours so it operates until midnight. It previously only operated till 7 p.m. And this provides a trip for people who are working longer hours to get home later in the day, and it provides a connection to the Red Line for our customers down in that neighborhood.
The best way for people to find out about any changes to our service is through customer alerts posted on our bus stops, as well as our website, transitchicago.com.
We are always looking at ridership and just changes to the landscape of the city to see how we can serve our customers better. We are often presenting either major or minor changes to the board for approval to better serve our customers.
What we do is we look at ridership on our routes as well as some of the traffic generators in the area. We pair that up with census data as well as land use information, and then we also obtain public comment. So through our 188 Your CTA or our website, we receive customer suggestions, and then we follow up on those suggestions.
After we come up with a suggestion to our president, it's presented to the board, and it's then established as a 180-day experiment once approved by the CTA board.
During the 180-day experiment, we test the new routing and we measure it by ridership as well as customer satisfaction. Some of the routes may go into a couple of experiments because we want to capture some of the seasonal changes of how the route operates in the summer versus the winter or the spring. And then once we have enough information that gives us a strong argument to make this permanent, we go back to the board and request an approval to make the route permanent.
It's important during these experimental phases for customers to give their input about the route.
During the experiment, we look at to see how ridership's doing, and we perform onboard surveys and take customer input. And then once we see it's a favorable change, then we'll present it back to the board for permanent adoption.
There are 3 ways where people can provide us input: through our website at transitchicago.com, through our 188-YOUR-CTA hotline, as well as onboard surveys that we conduct during the 180-day experiment.
Be sure to contact the CTA if you have any ideas on how to make your commute easier. It's often customers just like you who have the best insights. Just ahead on Connections, it's a trip to the South Shore Cultural Center on Jeanne's Journey. On an average weekday, the CTA provides 1.7 million rides, getting people where they need to go around Chicago and the 40 surrounding suburbs. If you want to hop aboard, here's how to get all the information you need. Online, go to www.transitchicago.com. There you can access system maps, bus and train schedules, and service updates. You can even use the Google Trip Planner. Enter where you want to start, where you want to go, and what time you plan to travel. Another option, make the connection by phone. Call 836-7000 from any local area code. The word connection, a link or a spark that brings people together. I'm Jeanne Sparrow. Welcome to Connections. Beautiful day in Chicago. What are we gonna do? Go to the beach, go to the park? We wanna be outside. Decisions. But you know, I know this one place where we don't have to choose, the South Shore Cultural Center. And according to my handy dandy CTA map, it says I can take the number 6 right to the front door. So let's get ready for another Jeanne's Journey. CTA has system maps available at rail stations and online at transitchicago.com. You can plan all of your trips with this handy reference tool. Trust the map, people. You can also count on CTA bus stop signs to help you find your way. They're all marked with specific information about bus routes, times, and start and end locations. And here it is now. We made it! And look at this, convenient service right by the front gate. So here's why the South Shore Cultural Center is one-stop shopping on a beautiful summer day. There's the beach right nearby, the golf course, and the nature sanctuary. Then inside they've got these great programs for kids and the whole family, any age group. There's art, there's dance, there's a gallery, there's a restaurant, and the bus dropped me off right at the front gate. So let's go inside and see what's going on. The South Shore Cultural Center was founded in 1905. Besides the golf course, beach, and nature sanctuary, it also includes horse stables, the Washburn Culinary Institute, and grand ballrooms. The building itself is designated as a Chicago landmark. You can find out more about the programs here at chicagoparkdistrict.com. Another piece of cool trivia about the South Shore Cultural Center. This is where President Obama and the First Lady had their wedding reception. I'm feeling a little underdressed now.
Headed to the beach, and me without my bikini. Talk about hidden treasure. Check this out. A gorgeous day like today, and the beach is half empty. Splish splash, anyone?
This is gorgeous. Can you believe that this is in the middle of the city? I mean, I took a bus here. I tell you, you never know what you're gonna see on Jeanne's Journey. You should probably try it out for yourself. And join me next month where we go around the city using the CTA and seeing great stuff. Toodles. Chicago has a lot of great beaches. And the CTA has added summer, weekend, and holiday service to other area beaches on the number 63 63rd Street bus, number 72 North, and the number 78 Montrose bus routes through Labor Day, Monday, September 7th. Beaches are open between 9 a.m. and 8:30 p.m. Extended service is available during beach hours. Buses will travel to their regular terminals when the beaches are closed. CTA also provides service within blocks of many other city beaches. Up next, bicycling around Chicago. Getting from here to there quickly, easily, and without breaking the bank. I'm Jeanne Sparrow. Welcome to Connections.
More and more people are biking around town to save money and to help the environment. Adding CTA to the mix can help expand the ground covered by bike enthusiasts.
We have such a world-class bicycle infrastructure. We have more than 140 miles of bike lanes on the streets. We have 6 off-street bike paths that provide more than 40 miles of off-street, no-car riding, and more than 10,000 bike racks. So you can go wherever you need to go in the city and find a bike rack to lock up safely.
What do we want to do to fulfill the mayor's goal to make Chicago the most bicycle-friendly city in the United States? And a key component of that plan was bicycling and transit.
The city is really committed to multimodal transportation, and our public transportation also tries to integrate biking with public transportation. For example, all of our buses have bike racks. All our trains, bicycles are allowed on them except during rush hour. At most of our rail stations, we also have bicycle parking too.
People all across the city are discovering how easy it is to extend their bicycle trip using the CTA.
Let's say you wanted to ride to work one day and then it's pouring rain out. Now you have the option to load your bicycle on a rail car or to load it on a bus. So then you don't have to ride home in the rain and get wet and perhaps wet and slippery and dangerous conditions. So it'll make your commute a little bit safer. It allows for a longer commute once you get to either end of your destination.
Or you've got a longer distance to go, you're not comfortable riding that far, you can ride your bike to the train station, either park it there or take it with you to get to your destination once you're downtown or once you're to your location.
There's so many reasons to jump on your bicycle instead of climbing into your car.
It just saves a ton of money. I mean, with gas prices as high as they are, with the economy the way it is, riding a bicycle is totally free. No parking your car, no sitting in traffic, no wasting gas, all that stuff. It's just a really, really inexpensive way to get around Chicago.
A lot of businesses now are also supporting bicycling by having bicycle racks and showers in their building. There's always a place to lock your bike. You might not have that option if you're driving a car somewhere. You're not going to find on-street parking, or you might not have enough quarters to feed the parking meter. So it really allows some flexibility.
The bicycle just provides such a huge environmental benefit because one more bicyclist means one less car on the road, less congestion, cleaner air, healthier people. That's just great for the environment.
It must take an expert to load that bike on a bus, right? Not at all. It's a simple process that anyone can master.
When you're waiting at a bus stop to put your bike on the bus, it's really important to follow a few simple safety rules. First, wait till the bus comes to a complete stop. Then you want to signal to the driver with a wave or a hello to let them know that you're going to put the bike on the bus rack. Once the bus is to a complete stop, you walk out, grab the yellow handle with the number 1 on it, release the bike rack and pull it down into the bottom position. Then you want to lift your bike into the wheel well with the front wheel facing toward the yellow locking mechanism. You grab the securing arm, pull it up over the front wheel of the bike, put it on top and make sure that it's down nice and tight. The bike will be locked in place.
You'll want to make sure you've taken everything off of your bike and put your bike in the rack closest to the bus.
When you reach your stop, you want to exit through the front doors and tell the driver that I'm going to take my bike off the front of the bus. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for riding with me.
When you exit the bus and want to take your bike off the rack, grab the yellow release arm, pull it down off the tire, lets the bike go. Take your bike up out of the wheel well. Make sure you pull the handle back up and put the rack back in its locked position. It's that easy to take your bike on the CTA buses.
There are a few simple rules to follow. Anyone 14 years or older may bring a bike on a train or bus. Children 12 to 13 years old must be accompanied by an adult. Those under 12 are not allowed to bring bikes on board. Bikes are not allowed on rail cars during rush hour between 7 and 9 a.m. and 4 and 6 p.m. and on July 3rd because of the high ridership that day. And no matter where you park your bike, make sure you lock it up.
You might want to go to a bike shop to make sure that you have a good strong U-lock that's going to be able to keep your bike safe. You want to make sure that you put the lock through both the frame and the tire and that it's securely fastened before you leave your bike.
I'd encourage people that are biking and people that are taking CTA to give us the comments either on the CTA website or on the CDOT website. It's chicagobikes.org so that we can make our city even better for cycling.
You can always count on the CTA if you need it for part of your bike commute. Check out our website for all the details you may need about bicycling and the CTA. We'll be right back. Traveling in and around Chicago on the CTA saves you time and money. I'm Jeanne Sparrow. Welcome to Connections. We're always looking for story ideas. Do you have a travel secret you'd like to share or a CTA story you'd like to tell? Give us a call at the Connections Hotline, 312-681-2812. Helping you make your connections. I'm Jeanne Sparrow. Thank you for watching.